Hey guys, Rob Reviews here, bringing you another cool review for Game of Thrones. This one is Game of Thrones Season 1, Episode 6, A Golden Crown. So this was a really fun episode. We had a few deaths in there. So this is kind of it's an exciting one. Anyway, yeah. Whew. A few deaths. Anyway, let's move on. So first of all, we have the Lord Eddard wakes up after being unconscious. He's obviously lying with his injuries, and he finds both King Robert and Queen Cersei waiting. Cersei is furious with Eddard's acts, having her brother arrested. Robert refuses to condemn him without hearing Eddard's side. When Cersei protests, Robert obviously hits her, strikes her across the face. Talks to her, telling her to be silent. And Eddard gives his side of the thing. He says that he thinks that someone helped him try and murder his son. Anyway, Arya has another dancing lesson with Syrio Forel, but isn't in the mood due to Jory's death. Obviously, Syria tells her. Obviously, Jory was the. Oh, I forgot to mention him last. A review. He's obviously the guy, like the Stark soldier who got stabbed by Jaime. Obviously, obviously Syrio telling that King Robert obviously is out hunting, accompanied by Renly, Sebastian Salmi, and Lancel Lannister. Obviously, he's being supplied wine by Lancel, becoming drunk and nostalgic, and obviously longing for the days that he was younger. And then Robert brags about all the women he's bedded, but Renly becomes irritated, questioning about the history of the women. There's some stuff there. In King's Landing, we see the meeting, a small council. Talking about the Riverlands and all that, and the mountain, of course, who's gone a bit mental. Oh no, it isn't. No, sorry, I don't know, something there. Oh yeah, I think it was the mountain who went mental, and then I don't know, I don't remember, something like that. Oh yeah, and then he tells them to Beric Dondarrion to basically go down and find him and execute him in the king's name. We have Grand Maester Pycelle send word to Casterly Rock to demand Tywin's presence in the court. Littlefinger and Grand Maester are both concerned with the harshness, the thing. Prince Joffrey comes to apologise to Sansa, obviously the incident in the King's Road. Calls the Lady Love and gives her a necklace. Sansa forgives him, and they seem kind of reconciled. But unaware that the Queen put Joffrey to the apology. Eddard decides to send his daughters back to Winterfell. Arya is worried that she might leave. She obviously has to leave Syrio. Sansa protests, says that it's Joffrey. He's got to be with Joffrey. Sansa says she wants to marry Joffrey anyway, and then Eddard pauses and sends them back to the book. He looks at and then obviously, Eddard takes the book and looks at the house Baratheon after he hears the, children with golden hair. She looks in and says that, obviously House Baratheons have black hair, not golden hair. At least the book says. So possibly some incestuous stuff going on there. In the north, we see Bran has another dream about the three-eyed raven, which obviously it flies into the crypts, and he kind of in this kind of dream, he sort of follows it. Theon thinks Robb should prepare for the north for war, but Robb is determined to make his own decision. Obviously, when the time comes, they discover Bran has wandered off. Obviously they have Bran on the horse and stuff. And then when Bran's on the horse and all that, a woman called Osha comes with her wildling friend. They sort of threaten to kill and then Theon basically takes the shot. Possibly killing her, but killing Bran, actually having Bran killed in the process, but not. They kill the one wildling, but they keep Osha as like a sort of slave. They're quite well from the wall. In the Vale, we have obviously at the Eyrie, we have Tyrion almost rolls out of his cell. Then he goes in there and he basically kind of pleads his innocence. He's talking to the guard, obviously the kind of bald guard, Maud, I think is his name. Talking to him, saying that he can obviously pay him money and he can, if he helps them. And then obviously Tyrion is defending himself and then demands a trial by combat because he realizes he's not going to get any justice. No one actually wants to fight for him. However, then Bronn steps forward and says he's willing to fight for Tyrion. So Bronn fights Vaes Dothrak, who is of course Lysa's pick for the trial by combat. Obviously they have a fight, but then Bronn starts fighting a bit dirty and eventually throws him down the moon hatch, whatever it's called, and he falls to his death. And then I think Lysa says, "You don't fight with honor," and he said, "Yeah, he did." Across the Narrow Sea we see the Vaes Dothrak. Daenerys is studying on dragon eggs, all that kind of stuff. Just when she moves the thing, and then there's some stuff with where she's summoned to actually eat a stallion's heart. Of course, it's like a tradition there. They have to keep the raw meat down, but obviously she doesn't want to do it. But then she sort of forces herself, pushes herself, and she's able to do it. Obviously, right in front of everyone. It's quite brutal. It's quite disgusting, but she does it regardless. Obviously, Viserys kind of storms out. And we have the thing with Jorah Mormont, where Jorah Mormont says that he's loyal to Daenerys, and then obviously we see the kind of festival. Dany is obviously the Dothraki love Dany, and then obviously drunk and bitter, Viserys interrupts the feast for Daenerys and Drogo. He angrily demands his payment in return for giving Daenerys for Drogo. Obviously he wants his army and his crown, and then obviously he draws a sword on Drogo, and that's obviously considered an offensive punishment by the death of the sacred city. You can't take a sword out in the sacred city. Threatens Dany and the unborn child. So Viserys gets him on his knees. He melts some gold, and he pours the molten gold on Viserys' head and said, "There's your crown." Anyway, really kind of brutal episode, but I did really enjoy it. I think there was a lot of good things in here. There was a few things I wasn't so keen on, but overall a really solid episode. I think it deserves a good 8 out of 10. I think that's a fair enough score. There are a few things there which I weren't so keen on. The stuff with Eyrie and Sansa is nice, but I do get bored of it sometimes, especially like this part of the story. But overall it was a pretty good episode. So tell me your thoughts on the episode, guys, and I'll see you next video. Goodbye.